Good evening, Heart for the Community Initiative. Welcome back to another installment of our interview series. I am your host, Carl Armstrong, Director of Operations. I forgot my own title, Director of Operations for Heart for the Community Initiative, and your host for the interview series. I want to thank you once again for spending some time with us. You are an awesome audience, and we appreciate you. Hey, listen. These first couple of seconds, I want you to let everybody know that Heart for the Community is back on the air. Start a watch party. Make sure you share this video. Let your family and friends know that we have another awesome show for you this evening. You're going to get a lot of information from our tremendous guests. We always have tremendous guests, right? And once again, my number one fan is the first one on to say good evening. That's my wife, Mr. Smoot.
All right. Oh, number
Sweetie,
one.
that's right. My number one fan. That's my ride or die. And that's her number one homie, Monica Lucille, right there, right with her. So, so thank y'all so much. Like I said, please make sure that you start a watch party, share the video, let everybody know that we're on. And hey, listen, those of you who are watching on Carl's Conversation, welcome to the Heart for the Community Initiative interview series. Welcome aboard, y'all. Come on, I take my Carl's Conversations audience with me everywhere I go. So I appreciate it. Listen, if you have not already liked and or followed Heart for the Community Initiative, today would be a good day to do so. So you can keep up with what we're doing. And you also need to check out our video library. We have a tremendous assortment of content. We've interviewed all kinds of people about all kinds of things. And I think there'll be something there that you like. But listen, tonight is a treat. We have a local businessman, Robert Brincour Smoot. He is the owner and CEO of Brincore Entertainment. He is a tremendous person. He has an awesome story, and I can't wait to get into it and share it with you tonight. Welcome, Mr. Smoot.
Hey, Carl. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be talking to the community. Hey, Jeanette. So let's get into it, bro.
All right. Well,
Ready?
first of all, I want you to tell us about Brincore Entertainment. What is it, and what do you do?
All right. Well, Brincore, let's start there. It starts with Brent and Corey, which are my sons. I wanted to have a name that was, unique, like a Nike. So Brincore, because I knew if people would say Brincore, I know that's Robert Smoot. So therefore, it's Robert Brincore Smoot. So that's how that got started. And we started about 14 years ago in a little lounge. I have to admit, I was a single man at the time, and I wanted to, have some good music. Have a little drink or two, and
Uh-huh.
hear some good music. So I started this thing called Jazz Night at the Crystal City Gateway Marriott in Arlington, Virginia. So when I started, I was like, well, I met this guy. This guy said, "Hey man, you know how big your following is?" I'm like, "Following?" I said, "Man, no, man. I'm just trying to do this thing and have a good time." And he said, "Man, they're on these subway systems. They're on the shuttle buses going down to Virginia, and everybody's talking about this jazz night." I'm like, "Wow!" So it grew. And then I was in the federal government at the time, working at 9 to 5, and finally I just said, "Well, if I could do this, I'm gonna be happy." And I started crunching numbers and things like that. And then next thing you know, here comes Brincour Entertainment. So I've been doing that for 14 years now. I'm married now with to my lovely wife Tara, and I have four lovely kids, and and I just had a grandchild about 9 months ago. So I'm excited about that. So
That
that's
is
me, Tara.
awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
yeah.
So if I call Brincore because I want to do a show, maybe I'm throwing a wedding for my daughter, uh, what would you do to help me with my event?
When you call me, I'm gonna give you the best service there is within your budget, which is a lot different than just saying, okay, well, my price is 10 grand, and I will come in, I will meet with you, I will consult with you, I will book the band, and I will have several people to work with you. I may not work with you directly. My sister works with me, so I will pass it on to her. We will come up with your needs, and then we will give you the best there is. We're on time. We're very professional, because when you work with some certain groups or certain groups of people, they're not professional and they're out for the for the kill. But that's not what Brincour stands for. We go the extra mile.
Well, I tell you, I've heard very, very good things about Brincour, and I only learned of your name a week ago. But in
Right.
these 7 days, I've heard some very good things about the shows that you put on, and
Right.
I've heard that you have a very interesting personal story. I want to know something about it. How did you get to where you are?
Well, like I said earlier, it started early on, and I'm not gonna go too deep in, because a lot of it's personal. But when I started out, I'm a man of God. First of all, I don't play around with God or people money. So when I started, I always wanted to, just once I got started in the business, I wanted to do things from a professional level. And I was in the federal government, and it just didn't do it for me, because I started wandering off. I wasn't going to work and doing my job, because I was thinking about this music. So I left the federal government, went with a private firm, and I was on the contract that closed. So, and what happened was, I was doing some training, which I knew, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know anything about the system. I just got hired by the company. They said they want me to do some training, put me on a job to do some training. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this. You all didn't even train me on it, but I had to train others. So they called me. They called me over to Virginia. I caught the subway over, and he said, listen, we're going to have to let you go. I'm saying, really? So they let me go. So I looked at the guy. The guy says, it seems like you want to do your music business anyway. So I was there, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. So this is how it's going to go. So, I mean, it's a hot, good paying job. So now I'm out of a job. I'm on the subway. So I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, oh, to punch you in your face. But I said, no, Lord, work with me. So then I looked at his ears, and he had some iPod. It was back in the day, they had the iPod, an iPad, yeah, iPod. So he had the earphones in his ears. So I was looking, I'm like, okay, Lord, you talking to me. You want me to do some music. Then I looked at the next person on the subway. They had earphones. Then I looked at a little kid. I said, wait a minute. So, Lord, are you speaking to me? He was like, you need to go on this music thing. Now, I grew up in the church. I can sing a little bit, but I'm not gifted like the people who work with me. So it just dawned on me, this is what you call me to do. And I continued on with it to where I am today.
That is amazing. And for those of you who are wondering, why in the world we on Heart for the Community talking about this? Because Mr. Smoot is part of our community.
You better
And,
believe
and, and you'd be shocked to know how many dreamers are out there, especially in this time of COVID-19, when many people have lost their jobs and they're looking for a way to continue to take care of their family. Hey, maybe you listening to Mr. Smoot's story and how he just started with an idea and just went for it. Maybe that would encourage you. That may be the little missing piece that you need to get yourself squared away. So, how did it materialize from that day getting fired to okay? I'm gonna do another event, because I know you were doing events, while you were still with the federal government. But I'm sure when you were out of a job now, you need to increase that revenue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How did you launch from there?
Well, well, let me back up even further. I was online, um, and I had to shout out my folks back who actually got me through my life, and the important part of my life when I was going through the loss of everything. Um, Blackplan.com. I used to do meet and greets. So we had this thing called the 30s room chat room. So we would chat all over the world, and people will come to our different events. So I had one here called the DC Meet and Greet. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to bring everybody to the Crystal City Gateway Marriott. We did a karaoke night. We went to Zanzibar, and we went to brunch at Phillips. And it worked so well that I was like, wait a minute, can I do this for a living? And then that's when I started Brincour, and that's when I started having a jazz night. Now, I started crunching my numbers, and I'll be honest with you, if I brought home $2,000 every 2 weeks, I looked at it as far as, okay, if I bring $10, charge $10, and 100 people come through, that gives me $1,000 that night.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute now. Then we start crunching these numbers. So then I said, well, what if I had 3 nights doing 3 separate things? That's $3,000 in one night.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, now wait a minute. Let me step back. Let me do this from a professional standpoint. Then that's when I started kicking in the business and started doing my business plan, doing my marketing analysis, looking at what's happening with the different venues, the Blues Alley, the Capitol Jazz Fest, and doing my SWOT analysis. So once I did that, I say, okay, I don't want to be as big as the Capitol Jazz Fest because I know the headaches that comes with it. But I can do it on a smaller scale and still be successful to pay my bills because that's all I was worried about, paying my bills. So that's how I really got into the analytical thing of starting and being a business owner. And like I said, one thing led to another, from people supporting, people talking about Brincour, people coming to the events. And then in the federal government, I was trained as a IT professional, certified, project manager.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to, analyze and write contracts and things like that. So now what happened, I decided, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make this a business and use the skills that I learned in the federal government to, go into my business.
That is awesome. So let me ask you, before you went into this business, how much exposure did you have to the business world? Or for you, was this like, listen, I just got to dive in here and learn as I go?
Called none. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to run no business. I mean, I had a good government job that paid well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have no business. I didn't know anything about no financial freedom. I didn't know about, return on investments and all. I had to learn that. So once I learned it, then I started applying it. The rest was history. Because now you have to learn about marketing. You have to learn about competition. You have to, you're going to have your downfall. And I'm going to tell you, it's not easy.
Right.
A lot of people, I could throw a party, or I could be a big plan, or I could book a band. But if that band don't show up, you see what will happen.
Right. You don't sold these tickets.
Right. So I'm thinking that band don't show up, you could be up a creek.
Right.
Thing. So I learned, on the fly,
Mm-hmm.
but I always had, my calling was bringing things together, bringing people together. I was in the church, helping my dad out in the church and things like that. But I never thought about doing it to make money.
Right.
So, and then one guy came to me and said, hey, man, because he came to my event off of Black Planet. He said, man, you ever thought about making money doing this? I was like, nah, bro, I'm just trying to meet some girls.
Right.
That was it.
Right.
So my focus wasn't on making money. But once he taught me, and it was right when, what's the thing where Fantasia and all of them were competing on? American Idol, when it first came out, it was like the second year. So I was in the club and I saw this girl sing. I said, you need to be on American Idol because you are bad. She's like, I asked, I said, do you have a manager? She's like, no. I said, do you have any representation? You have a CD? No. I said, well, what are you doing with your life? She says, nothing. I was like, golly. If I would have worked with her, she'd been gone. So yeah, I'm learning on the fly, brother.
Wow. And I asked that question because, like I said, I'm sure there's probably somebody watching or who will see this at some later date, who needs that kind of inspiration. Yeah. I was telling you before we came on air, what I'm doing now, I actually saw this 5, 6, 7 years ago. Every excuse in the world why I shouldn't do it. And my son kept saying, "Hey, Dad, you need to get a show. You got a lot of stuff to say." Nah, 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 nah. And COVID just pushed me right into it. As a matter of fact, Jeanette Underwood Holland, she was the first interview that I did. You know, you mess with Gary Holland, you get involved in anything.
Oh yeah. Gary make me sick. He's so, I call him the mayor of Stafford. You know, he's just a great guy. You know, just, I mean, just so supportive. And you
Mhm.
need that in your camp. You know, I think, you know, when I was going through some, I got a text from him. It's like, "Hey man, I'm just checking on you, see how you doing." Gary, I hadn't talked to Gary like about 6 months. But
Right,
then, you know, it's just things like that and texts like that makes you go on. And he'll support. I mean, because I mean, I wasn't even on, I didn't know anything about your business. But
right.
already, I can tell you right now, you're gonna be the next Oprah.
Oh wow. Well, I appreciate that.
You're gonna be the next Oprah. And
Wow.
you heard it here.
I'm gonna save this one.
Yeah, so make sure I'm on there and get some money, all
That's
right?
right. Well,
But
we're gonna blow Brincour up.
hey man, look, man, I'm so grateful, man, for the people who support Brincour, because you don't have to. You know, I'm a small company. I don't have no big budget and things like that. You know, I just do it because I love people. You
Right,
know, Miss Holland called me and said, "Look, I want to have a birthday party, 50th birthday party for my husband," and we worked together, and it turned out to be a success. You know, again, it's things like that. It's good people like that that supports me. And a lot of times, and I'm telling you, it's not easy what I do. You
right,
know, because especially through COVID, because my business has been cut in half. But in the meantime, all of my clients that I have, we went to virtual. And all my events are still going on now. It's just virtual. And that's with Merlin Park and Planning. You know, you
right.
go right now and see about 4 or 5 bands. We did the taping of 4 or 5 bands in one day. You
Wow,
know, things like that. You know, and
wow.
and we've been on festivals. I've done a lot of the Howard Theater. We sold that out with the Motown show. We sold out the Bethesda Blues and Jazz. Now I'm a local promoter.
Right,
You have national artists that can, you know, sell these places out.
right.
So all praise to God, man.
Wow. When you were building your brand, what was in your mind as far as what was your hook going to be? What was going to be the thing that Brincourt was going to be known for that would keep them coming back? What was in your mind to build?
Well, my brand is strong because um, it's real.
Hmm.
You know, it's not like, okay, well, he faking. You know, he's just taking our money. You know, he you know he's doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. He's just trying to break up money. Classic example, and this is true story. When COVID broke, I was doing the Phyllis Hyman show at at the Bowie Performing Arts. I had over 400 tickets sold. Somebody emailed me and said the governor has said that it's risky. Now he hadn't shut Maryland down yet.
Right,
So I could have went on with the show, but I canceled it because I thought about the people, you
right,
know, and I thought about my integrity in regards to my brand. Do I
right,
really want to go out here and have somebody say, "Well, he was at his show and they passed"?
right.
I didn't want that on my head. So I woke up in the middle of the morning and I was like, "No, I can't do it." So I called him and said, "We're going to cancel it." Now, I could have made the money,
Right.
but it wasn't about the money, it's longevity. So my brand is based off of me as a person and my life and how I live my life, where I got it from my mom and my dad to always do right and do right by people. And it will come back to you.
And
So,
that's something what you learn right in the household. Hey,
yep.
listen, audience, I want to encourage you. If you have a question for Mr. Smoot or you want to continue with your comments, we welcome you. And
Please.
once again, if you have not already liked or followed Heart for the Community Initiative, today would be a great day to do so. You can be involved and we interview great people like Mr. Smoot. So it's amazing that you said that your brand really came from home training, things that you learned from your mom and dad, and your integrity is really what it is. They know you to be a real guy, a real person.
Yep.
That is awesome. So when COVID hit, because COVID changed everything, I don't know if we'll ever go back to what was before COVID. So for a person in business like you, where you actually have to fill venues and you need people to buy tickets to things, what was your mindset as to, now how am I going to work within the rules of these new restrictions to continue to keep my revenue flowing and entertain my clientele?
Whew. You know, all of this is by the grace of God, Carl. It really is. Um, COVID, COVID came and really, really turned a lot of people's lives upside down. Um, what happened was with me was that it took me 2 weeks, at least two. I'm gonna say almost a month, just to process everything. One night I was like, honey, I can't even sleep in the bed with you. I gotta go sleep in the other bedroom because it bothered me so bad. And she's like, go ahead and go. You know, you go from all of your plans for 2020 just out the door. And I'm talking about small things. So like I was at the mall. We smoke, we can't do the mall anymore. Now we did that. That decision came prior to COVID hitting. So that was something that I did for 9 years, and I loved it. People loved it. It came from all over. For a Thursday night, almost 200 to 300 people sitting on the lawn just enjoying themselves for like 10 straight weeks.
Wow.
That's gone. Basically,
Gone.
it's gone.
Just like that.
Like that. But there's the blues and jazz. We were there. Gone. Can't do anything. 500-seat theater, just gone. Howard Theater, just gone. Everything. So now you have to go into, okay, Lord, what is it that you had me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like anything else, you adjust, you adapt. So my where my goals are still big, now I have to break them up. Like for instance, we're doing the Motown. I used to do the Motown where I had the women and the men perform at the same time. So at the Carlisle Club, they came back and said, well, you can only have 100 people. We're in phase 3, so you can have people come out, as long as they're masked up, as long as they're, 6 feet away, the tables are 6 feet away. At the Carlisle Club, you couldn't even get in, it was packed. So we used to have 200.
Right.
So, of course, that's a big dip in the financials for me. But I had to come back with different ways and options that I could survive. Right. So what we did, we broke them up. Oh, and yeah, you have the tribute to the men of Motown. You got the tribute to the women of Motown. We have more dates. So that's how I'm adjusting and dealing with this, because it's very, it's mind-boggling, because I'm so much of a planner, thinker, creative thinker, all these things. So I have to adjust to basically slow your butt down.
Right.
Listen to me. And that's what happens. You're listening to God now. God is saying, okay, we're going to make you think even more. See, when COVID lifts, I'm going to be running. I'm serious. So
right.
Done. I'm going through all my files. I'm cleaning up. I'm getting contacts. I'm talking to people. I'm still working. Because like I said, my contacts are still there. And we just went to virtual. Now, do I like virtual? No, I don't. Because I feel the audience. I like the feel of the audience.
The energy.
But am I going to do an event for the money? Yes, I am.
You're right. That's right. You got to eat.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Our country is going through some racial unrest. And of course, for our community, this is not really anything new. I think something just changed. Maybe it was the fact that everybody was home because of COVID. And when we saw what happened to Mr. George Floyd there in Minneapolis, something in America just broke, Of course, the ugliness of racism has shown its ugly head once again. But once again, this is not new to us.
No.
It's new to some people who didn't realize that it was lying underneath. So I want to ask you, how did that event with Mr. Floyd and everything that has happened since then, the protests and all that, how has that affected Brincour Entertainment, and how has it affected Mr. Robert Smoot?
Whew. Can I cry?
Yes, yes, you can.
Man, it broke me to pieces. You know, I post on Facebook George Floyd when he cried out "Mama," and then I tell people vote. The reason being because if you think about your mama and this man calling out with his neck with the dude's knee on the man's neck for 8 minutes, I never seen anything like that. Never,
Wow.
never, never. I wouldn't even dream of stepping on a dog's neck that long, or even a roach or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you talk about injustice, and this is the people that are supposed to protect us. I got black sons. I
Right.
have black sons. Brincour is real people, and it bothered me because I'm thinking about what if that was my son?
Mm-hmm.
What if that was my son? So yes, I'm mad. Yes, I get angry. Yes, this country is in turmoil, and yes, we don't have leadership. Then I had to turn every day. I'm home, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing this every day. I'm looking at CNN. Then I flip it over to the other channel, and I'm watching the different stories and how they perceive this to be happening. And I'm like, are you serious? Then I'm looking at 200,000 people dying in 6 months. Man, you done lost your mind if you vote for him. I'm sorry. I'm just keeping it real. Just like my man, your other guest said, he a Trump supporter. I am not.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I'm not. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I respect his opinions, but I'm not. I think that when it comes down to Brincour, anything that I can do to help a community, you know, if I can provide entertainment, you know, if I can give my services to anybody, to anything, you know, I would do it. I would do it. And again, it's mind boggling, man. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
really is.
It is. Even yesterday, I will admit to you, I was feeling so bad yesterday when I heard about the Breonna Taylor. Um, when the Kentucky Attorney General was announcing that they were going to indict the one cop and the two others were getting off. I really considered contacting you and canceling the show because I said, man, my head is not in the game. This is just crazy. But I wanted to go on anyway. I said, you know what? I'm gonna talk to him about it too because you just said it. We're black men in America. So when you talk about Black Lives Matter, I think so many outside of us, to them, what they see is a structure. They see an organization.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, this is a reality that we live every day. So you don't have to be a part of the Black Lives Matter organization or even the Black Lives Matter movement to be a black person and say Black Lives Matter. And it doesn't mean that all other lives doesn't matter. It means that we live in this skin and we have lived the horror of racism. And that thing really set me back last night. I was speaking to a group of pastors this morning, and I told them, I said, spiritually, I'm intact. My faith has not been shaken,
Right.
but my humanity has been broken.
Right.
I'm wondering how much is a black life worth in America these days?
Well, it's worth a lot. We're all God's people. I mean, to keep it real, we're all God's people. Black, white, Jewish, Gentile, we all are God's people. And and as I get older, I look at my grandson, I look at my sons, I look at my daughter. My daughter is marrying a Puerto Rican and white guy. Now, I should be racist. and then I allow her. No, you're not marrying no white guy. No, we're black. No, and this guy treats her like gold. You know,
Wow.
like gold.
Wow.
Now I give him hell though,
Because that's your baby.
every opportunity I get. But I always tell him, I say, man, you're a great guy. You know, and the thing that really, and see, I come from PG County, Maryland.
I know what's up.
Well, we 95% black.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved down here to Fredericksburg. It took me 3 years to adjust.
Yes, sir. Different world. Different
Okay?
world.
Right. I live around white neighbors. I don't live in a black community. I live around white.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the big black man that walks the little dog around the neighborhood and everybody waves their hand to me and speaks to me.
Right.
I have no problems with loving people. And I say all that because I love people. A lot of my clients who believe and trust in me are white. Figure that out.
Wow.
Are white. You know, the Carlisle guy, he's white. Been with him 10 years. I watched his kids grow up. We grew our businesses together. So all this stuff that's going on, it bothers me. And like you said, we're human.
Yes.
It's not wrong for us to be mad or angry, but we have to pray even more. That's and right. that's where it is. And whew.
It's called righteous indignation. Let me ask you now, that's an interesting tilt to this conversation. So many of your clientele and it sounds like maybe your business partners are Caucasian brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had in-depth heart-to-heart conversations with them and see, their avenue of approach as far as their thought process towards all of this?
Not really, because it's on a business tip. But if I have to approach it or I see something in it, because again, in some of these venues, they treat you wrong. I will step up and say, wait a minute, come on now. You can't treat me a certain way and treat them a certain way, because again, they are customers. They paid to come in here. This is a multi-million-dollar establishment, but we know how to act too. So, but we're supporting you. You got over 200 people in here dining, eating, and drinking at your establishment. So treat them with the utmost respect.
Right.
And I have come across where I had to put people in their place for the way that they act.
Right.
The same way I had to put us in our place for the way that we act.
Two-way street.
Two-way street. So it's right and it's wrong. But, it's just right now, I'm on pins and needles. I can't wait for November the 3rd. I encourage everybody and their mama to get in line or vote early to make a change. And if you know what I mean by make a change, vote Biden and Harris.
And I would tell people that it's not just who will vote for at the top of the ticket. Yeah. But all of your local officials, no matter where you're watching this show, please make sure that you, between now and election day, that you understand who's running in your local elections, your city council, your mayor, for those of you who elect your sheriff or even judges. You need to know these things. If you have state delegates or state senators that you need to vote for, you need to really know, because those things have a great impact. Of course, the presidential race is going to have an impact on the nation. But what happens in your local community, that's going to have an impact on your everyday life. And look at Lucy. She said racism is not a race.
That's right.
It's a belief that's taught. We were taught to love all in my house. Yep. Yeah, Lucy, we were taught that too. But, I was having a conversation with a man today, and we were talking about, some of the things that we were taught in our household. And some of the things we were taught about our Caucasian brothers and sisters, it was for survival, not to be prejudiced against them, but, how to deal in a way that you wouldn't get caught up and get jammed up. So let me ask you about this Motown review. Right now,
Now you talking.
I am a Motown lover. Now I don't know if I still could do it, but at one time, if you play any Motown song within the first 5 or 6 notes, I could tell you the artist, the name of the song, and the year that it came out. Now I don't know if I can do that now, but in our house, my parents didn't play too much that rap. You,
No.
you had to play that in your room when they were gone. We woke up to Natalie Cole and
Oh,
Marvin Gaye and the OJ's, Temptations. You know what I mean? Four Tops,
well,
Shy Lights,
you said
all that.
I'm gonna let you host it. Open up the show.
So I want the audience to know, what can we expect when we come out and see your Motown show?
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I have the best Motown show on the East Coast.
Wow.
I mean, I really do. I have the best singers. I have the best band. Um, we're soulful. Our folks can sing Motown to the point that when you come out, you're like, oh, this is nice. We've we sold out the Howard Theater, which holds 1,200. First time in there, we sold it out. Um, we've sold out. We've gone down to the Roanoke Rapids Theater in North Carolina. Over 1,200 people come out to a venue that had that holds 1,500. People coming from everywhere. So we went down there, passing out flyers and things. So our Motown is one of the best out there. There may be some other ones other than the Motown artists, you know. And one of the things with the Motowns, what I wanted to do was to create that feeling, that ambiance of of Motown to make you really, as you describe it, that's how we want to bring it. Um, and that's how we have done it. And we've toured it all over the country, you know. And one of the reasons why we've done that is because Motown crosses all genres, and people really, really love. I mean, we played in front of white audiences, we played in front of the all black audience. We have to even do like, okay, this Motown show we need to do the ones that the white folks love.
Right.
You know, because guys would come on because we didn't have the four tops in our first show. So the guy came out, he said, "You gonna do some four tops?" I'm like, "It's not in our set list, sir." They said, "Whoa, man." Then we came right back down. This was down in Warren, not Warrenton, down there, golly, down the road, down out towards Warrenton.
Right.
And Culpeper, I'm sorry, in
Right.
Culpeper. So we were down at the theater, 400 folks come out. So he had, you had some four tops? I said, no, sir. Then we came back again the next year. You got some four tops? Is it in there? I was like, no, sir, I'm sorry. We didn't do it. You know, because we didn't change the set list.
Right.
And then we're getting, you know, around our folks and they want to hear, you know, the Tina Marie's.
That's
So we
right.
got to cover everything, you know, the Rick James. I got some Rick James in it. So so it's a great show. I call it my baby because we've been doing it for the longest time, but we have so many tributes. What I call is a tribute to the music of concert series.
Right.
So we're doing Phyllis Hyman, we do the OJs, we do James Brown, we do basically every artist that's out there. And some of the artists that we have performing are great. I mean, great. You close your eyes, you think, "Oh man, this is awesome,
Oh, wow.
awesome."
When I was on your website reading about your company, one thing that really impressed me, it seems like you have built a circle of excellence, if I could use that term. In other words, when you go to work for a client, you do it all. You take the event, and it sounds to me from reading and from listening to you, you try to take the vision of the client and make it a reality, working within their budget. And then the thing that I really liked is you throw the marketing in it. I mean, you help them market the event, because anybody who's ever done event planning,
Oh yeah.
you can have the best event with the best activities, but if you don't have good marketing, people don't know about it and people don't come, and it's not going to be the type of event that you want. And I was very impressed that you did that. Now, was that something that you knew coming out of the shoot, or was that developed over the years of doing business?
Coming out of the shoot. Coming out of the shoot. And I tell every artist or every business person, you have to take that very serious. When you don't, that's that's what it's all about. And see, with social media, like yourself, Carl, and one of the reasons why I say you're gonna blow up is because you have the right attitude and the marketing of your events. I mean, of your show. No, you don't have the big budget right now. You don't have 50 cameras. Yeah, we're doing it on a Zoom. But the content that you're giving is reaching households and reaching souls. And that's where the marketing comes in. I used to watch the comedy shows, Comic View, and I watched Russell Simmons come out at the end. And he says, "Good night." Always would say that.
God bless and good night.
God bless and good night. That's all you saw. But he was the man behind the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the quite opposite. I want you to know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I want you to know if you got a problem, you come straight to me. And we're going to handle it.
Right.
I want the venues to know, the cooks to know, to let everybody know that, hey, you appreciate it.
Right.
You appreciate it. And a lot of people, it's about money. I was told before the last training session that I got in the federal government, it was an older lady, you know, she said, black lady, she says, I've taught generals, I've taught overseas, I've done everything. She says, but the main thing I'm gonna tell you guys, love what you do and the money will come.
Wow.
Love
I'm gonna tell you what's,
and the money will come.
That's amazing you say that. We have 4 children, and I've told all of them this: do not chase money. Chase the thing that you love and get really good at it, and the money will chase you. You know, that is amazing. Now, y'all, I want to make sure this is clear. When I say the circle of excellence, then you heard what Mr. Smoot just said. They're gonna take your idea and build it around your budget. They're gonna deal with the venue. They're gonna deal with the talent, whether that be a band, comedian, whatever type of entertainment you're gonna have. He just said they're dealing with the cooks, they're dealing with the meal. So whatever you got going on, he's all involved. And maybe you're thinking like I'm thinking, because since your name is on it, you know, it got to be right. It's got to be right.
The venues that I work with, I don't work with venues that are grimy, nasty, poor service. I will walk you to your car if you feel unsafe. You know, my clientele's from 25 to 100 years old. We've done quality events. That's what I stand on, quality. Because again, I just don't have the time. I'm not, you know, I'm a little older. I'm not. I mean, I'm a little older.
Right.
You know, I've been to the clubs. I used to have been to the happy hours. I know how the bars work. I know how the food work. I know the profit margin. I know all these things because you know what? I was on the other side spinning it. You know,
right.
I mean, I was
right.
at H2O standing there drinking a bottle of wine, leaving work at 3:00, getting home at 3:00 in the morning, and watching everything, the whole night shift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the happy hour crowd until the late night crowd.
Right.
In it.
Wow.
So,
well, I tell you, I am excited. And for y'all who don't know, my wife and I will soon be going to one of Mr. Smoot's shows.
sure.
And now I hear that them shows like crack. Once you go to one, you just can't stop.
Family. If I don't see you, you know,
right.
Then you start picking and choosing the one because it'd be like, man, I saw that last year. I'm not coming again. You know,
right.
or what you do, man, I'm gonna go ahead and buy tickets for my folks so they come. You know?
Right.
And we treat you like family.
That's what I'm talking about.
We treat you like family from the time you get there to the time you leave. We treat you like family. And that's what sticks, and that's what's different about me. You know, yeah, I can be making a whole lot of money. Yeah, I can be selling my soul and all that other stuff. You're not gonna get it here,
not worth it. Not worth it.
You're not gonna get it here. You're not gonna get
it. Mr. Smoot, before we get out of here, I want to give you an opportunity to tell the audience anything that maybe we didn't cover already about Brincour, anything that you got coming up, anything that you want them to know.
Okay. Well, first of all, Brincour is an event management company. Okay, we're not a promoter. Let's make that perfectly clear because I do a lot of things. We can give you a band, we can give you a DJ, we can consult with you, we can do event planning, we can do marketing. Some of the venues we've been at is, like I said, is the Howard Theater, the Bethesda Blues and Jazz, all kinds of performing arts theaters across the country. We work with national artists. We've done festivals. And then, we're just good people, at least I know I am. but I do want to mention, I mean, like you said, you're coming out tomorrow night, which is going to be a blessing because you get to see it firsthand. If you want to come, we're right now, due to COVID, we're at the Carlisle Club, which is a beautiful venue, holds about 100 people. We can't go over 100 because everything has to be at least 6 feet apart. You have to have your mask on, and then you have to be right when you come in. It's no socializing and things along that line. But we're doing a tribute to the ladies of Motown tomorrow night at the Carlisle Club, which is 2050 Bollinger Avenue. It's in Alexandria, Virginia. If you know where the Westin and the courthouse is, it's right there. It's right off of Duke Street and Eisenhower Avenue. Beautiful venue. If you've never been there before, come on out. You can go to my website, Brincoure.com. It's as it's scrolling at the bottom. You can get tickets. Now, the first show is sold out, but our second show has limited tickets left for tomorrow night. So it's a great evening to come out and have a great time, and you will have a good time. You will have a good time. And then October the 10th, like I said, we do this concert series. We're going to be October the 10th, Saturday, October the 10th. We're going to be doing a tribute to the music of Teddy Pendergrass and Stephanie Mills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's our next one. So, and then on the 18th, the following week, we're going to be doing a tribute to Miss Phyllis Hyman. And I'm telling you, the folks we have performing are amazing. And then if you're a Frankie Beverly and Mays fan, October the 30th, we'll be at the Carlisle doing Frankie Beverly and Mays. So that's me, man.
You can be the cause of a whole lot of new babies being born in the DMV.
Well, hopefully this music, you ain't making no baby.
We're too old for all that.
Hands up for you, you'll have a good evening. Trust me.
Amen.
Yeah, man. So, but that's it in a nutshell. I appreciate you, Carl, for reaching out, and thank Gary. Words can't explain how much that brother means to me. And I know he's coming tomorrow night, and I look forward to meeting you face to face. And if anybody else is not doing anything, come on out. We're gonna have a great time. Great time.
All right, y'all. You heard it. This is Mr. Robert Brincour Smoot and of Brincore Entertainment.
Yes,
I hope that you have learned something about his business, the business, and the shows that he's putting on. We want to support him. So the information is scrolling across the screen for Brincore Entertainment. You have the website. You have the contact phone number. Mr. Smoot, it has been an honor and a pleasure to sit and have some time with you this evening. And I hope that at some point in the future, you'll come back.
I will. One more thing real quick, Carl.
Sure.
I do private events too. So
Okay.
if your organization or even in your house, we do house parties. We can have piano players, comedians, basically any type of entertainment you want, we can have it. And we'll come out. My son DJs. He does younger people's parties, like for the kids. We've done Spotsylvania's proms and backyard parties, and you name it, we do it all. So,
well, I'm gonna have to talk to you because my wife, she does some gospel singing, and my singing voice is not that well. But my part of the show is I do gospel pop locking in the back while she's singing, and
When I tell you I do quality stuff, always quality, bro.
So that ain't gonna make it.
Jesus. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of them doing it now.
Oh, Lord.
But if you pop locking at that age, you got good bones, bro. You got good bones.
I love it.
Man.
Yeah.
I ain't popping nothing but a soda.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for that later. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Spook. It's been an
No
awesome
problem.
time with you.
I
All right,
appreciate it.
audience. There he is, Mr. Spook, Brincour Entertainment. Please be supportive. Once again, if you have not already liked and or followed Heart for the Community Initiative, today would be a good day to do so. We hope that you enjoyed this show. As always, I have enjoyed you. I love my audience. You are so supportive. You're so awesome. I appreciate you. So until next time, may God bless you and may heaven smile upon you. Have a great evening.